Hi John,
Nice to meet you.
thank you for agreeing to take part in the Respect Project's local sport and hero interview. To start off our interview, could you tell me about where you grew up and what your childhood was like?
So originally I'm from Newry. Played football with Newry from I was no age and around Wimble stuff. So sort of grew up involved in sport, and yeah, I was mainly at the main part of my life was playing sport, both Gaelic and soccer from no age, just in around Newry.
What all sports did you play as a child? You mentioned Gaelic and football. Did you play any over?
Not really. Mainly just focus on Gaelic and soccer. Sport wise, not really anything else. Played a few instruments up until maybe third year in school. But apart from that, yeah, just mostly Gaelic and soccer.
What all instruments did you play?
Well, I played the viola actually up until I was about 14 or 15, and then give it up. Regret it to this day, giving it up. Played a wee bit of piano as well, but yeah, it was one thing I definitely regret doing, was giving up an instrument.
Did you have any interest outside of sport growing up?
I was involved in a wee bit of running, cross country and stuff when I was younger, and then I ran a wee bit in the track whenever I was in secondary school. But again, mainly just focused on Gaelic and soccer from I was literally no age, maybe 5 or 6 years of age.
How do you find having to try on balance playing sport and focusing on your schoolwork?
Yeah, that's a massive thing for me, and obviously my dad encouraged me to balance both as well. It can be hard at the end of the day when you're coming home from school, when you're meant to be studying or whatever, and you might have football training, you might say, "Oh, I'll do it after training," or and then you get home and you're too tired to do anything after training, and you're like, "Oh, I'll do it the next day," or whatever. But usually just blocking off a wee bit of time straight after school, or if you can stay in school, because I find even now if I'm in work, but if you stay on after work in the work environment, or in your case, a school environment, you're more productive when you're in that space rather than whenever you come home, you're in a home space and you're not really as focused. But for me, balancing it, yeah, it was massive, and thankfully I got through my GCSEs, A levels, and finally now in uni while still balancing it. So I think I did an alright job at it so far.
Who were your sporting heroes growing up and why?
Tough one, have a lot. Usain Bolt was a massive one. Obviously, he's one of the greatest Olympians and sprinters ever. I read his autobiography and basically talking about when he was younger, he literally had nothing. And the start of his books, he's actually involved in a car crash, and basically his life flashed before his eyes, and he was this big Olympic sprinter, and he was involved in something that nearly took everything away. So Bolt was a massive one. Obviously, Lionel Messi, he's in sort of similar situation. Was told he was too small, he would never go on and achieve what he did, and he just sort of proved everyone wrong. And then of more recent, I would say Matthew Fraser, which probably a few people don't really know. He's a 5-time CrossFit world champion, and he's about 5'6". So it just goes to show again, people of any height or any body type or whatever can go on and do really well.
Did you have any local sporting heroes?
Well, to be fair, I didn't really watch too much soccer locally when I was growing up. I'd say Ronnie Murder from Ballyholland would have been a big one whenever I was coming up through just playing Ballyholland underage. He was sort of peaking at the time, and he was in around the down setup, so that was definitely one of my local ones.
Did you talk a lot about the down? Did you play when you were younger? Or?
Yeah, for down, I was in around down setups, and I was probably under 14s, 16s, minors, played under 20s as well, and sort of in around the senior setup as well. So yeah, I've been involved with down a lot.
How'd you find playing in down?
Yeah, good. There's good days and bad days. I know down are not really as great as they want to be at the minute, but they're sort of climbing the ladder back. But yeah, I had a few good days with down, especially when another under 20 Ulster Championship. I was massive, sort of put down, sort of back out there, and then they went on and win it again the second year in a row. So yeah, it was 20 good days playing for down.
You played for various teams and in different sports when you were a child. Could you tell me more about the teams you played for and what your fondest moments are of playing sports when you were younger?
Fondest moments when I was younger? Well, I sort of who I played for. Played for Ballyholland. You can't change Gaelic club, so I still sort of play for Ballyholland. Played with Windmill, obviously under John Joe, Marty, Liam Bradley. And then played for Down. Obviously took a year out, and then went and played for Newry. There's a few. Definitely when I first got called up for Down when I was younger was massive, because I sort of like, you played club level up until a certain age, and then you sort of get thrown into the pot. It's like, oh, am I going to get picked for Down, or am I just going to continue to play a club or whatever? So that'll definitely be one of the proudest moments. I captained Down minors as well. Definitely a proud moment. And then probably more recently, just getting capped at international level for soccer. I was capped at 19s and 21s. So yeah, they're really proud moments both for me and the family, because still playing for Newry City and you're getting recognised on an international stage, it's massive for me, even family, and even Newry as a club.
Yeah, a lot of great achievements there. You are currently playing for Newry City in the Irish Premiership. How did you find the step up from youth to senior football?
Massive difference. And anyone that tells you otherwise is miles off it. But I think I got thrown in at a young age. Well, I wouldn't say thrown in. I was brought in at a young age by Darren Mullen. So I think I was 16 whenever I sort of started playing senior for Newry. Yeah, it's a big step up. Physicality wise is massive. Like, for me, I was an absolute toothpick as a 16-year-old, and getting thrown into a championship side when you're playing against men that might be a couple of stone overweight, kicking you about the pitch, is a bit of a reality check. But no, you adapt to it. And then obviously in the Premiership again, it's more technically gifted players in the Premiership too. And yeah, it's definitely a big step up.
Yeah. You also have represented Northern Ireland at under 21 level. Could you tell me more about your experience of playing at the national football?
Yeah, internationally, it was great experience. 19s, I played. I only actually got 3 appearances for the 19s because COVID sort of interrupted all that, but I had way more experience at under 21 level. Like, my first campaign was my first year of university. So just fresh into Queen's, remember getting an email through from the AFCa just being like, you're going to be on standby. And I was like, oh, happy days, be glad to be even on standby for a 21 squad. And then I got an email the next day saying, go and get your Russian visa sorted, because you're going to Russia and then you're going to Spain after, both away games. But the experience is unbelievable. Like, you're playing against people that are the best in their country, like, and you're getting to represent Northern Ireland on that scale. So yeah, it was an unbelievable experience.
How did you find your experiences in Russia and Spain?
Yeah, unreal. Like, you're treated as a professional the whole time you're away. Whereas Newry's obviously a part-time club, and they're trying to get as professional as possible. But you literally eat, breathe, sleep football when you're away. You're waking up, you're training, you're doing even things like you're getting weighed every single morning. You're doing urine samples for your hydration. You have to eat certain times of the day, train certain times of the day, all them sort of things. So I really enjoyed just a really professional aspect of it.
Have you played in any of the big stadiums or against any famous footballers during your career?
Yeah, I definitely played against a few famous people. Biggest stadium I played in probably in Spain. It's basically a stadium built for their underage international teams and players. I think there was like an 80,000 seater stadium. It was huge, but there was only maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people at it, because again, it was just coming out of COVID and restrictions and stuff. But most famous, I would say, Camavinga, who's playing at Real Madrid at the minute. When we played France, we played them. Kalulu as well. I was marking him majority of the game. He played for AC Milan. Played against Brian Gill, Spanish player, plays for Spurs, on loan at the minute. Nico Williams plays for Atletico Bilbao, and Aki Williams' wee brother, he's just coming onto the scene as well. So yeah, there's lots of players that are banging in goals every week that I've played against, all in highest leagues around Europe.
Name a lot of good players there. Could you tell the step up compared to Northern Ireland to like those teams?
Yeah, definitely. Sharpness wise, it was a massive step. Like, for me, stepping into the Northern Ireland setup, I thought it was a bigger step, because I'm playing with players that are technically more gifted or sharper or whatever, as they're playing in full-time setups. And then you do another step from that, you're playing against people that are playing in like League One and Serie A, and Camavinga, like he's playing for Real Madrid every week. Like the technicality and the differences in sharpness levels are massive there. So yeah, that was a massive step for me anyway.
Did you or do you get nervous before big matches, and how would you cope with this?
Yeah, I do. I know some people say, "Oh, you never get nervous," but I definitely have a wee bit of nerves before every football match. But I think it's a good thing, because I think it shows that you care as well. Whereas if you're going in that game and you've no nerves or you don't feel any pressure, you're not really too bothered about it. But I think you just have to deal with it in the right way, especially if you're coming in that game and you're starting. I think just getting yourself settled for the first couple of minutes of the game, maybe just taking a touch of the ball or getting your first pass away and just sort of building yourself into it and giving yourself a wee bit of confidence.
Who's the best player you played against and why?
Probably go back to Camavinga. I wasn't marking him in the game, thankfully. But yeah, just technically miles ahead of anyone I've ever played against. Strength-wise, speed-wise, just unbelievable.
You also are a very talented Gaelic player and have played for your county on various occasions. Could you tell me more about your experiences playing Gaelic football, and have you any aspirations to get back involved?
Again, I've played county in the county setup for Gaelic from I was maybe 14 years of age. I trialled down seniors, I think, when I was 17 or 18. Now 21, so 3 years on from that. I haven't really played too much Gaelic, but it would be definitely something I'd love to get back involved in, especially playing 20s with Conor Lavery. I know he's involved with the seniors now. I think he's a great coach and a great manager, and I would definitely love to work under him again as well.
Yeah, what made him a good manager, in your opinion?
For me, he's really good player management, so he's really understandable of all his players. His training, it's really tough, like in terms of physically and mentally. He'll sort of make you go to a mentally dark place in your training, but he'll always encourage you and he'll be there too, so he sort of helps you get through it. I've never been as fit playing under him as well, so definitely a fitness aspect. He was unreal for that. And in general, just he's a football genius. Like, you can look at his trophy cabinet or his medal cabinet, and it goes to show that he's part of that Kilcoo process that won so much through over the years.
You mentioned a lot about playing Gaelic when you were younger. Do you reckon that helped you improve in football as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think they both complement each other. I bring things from Gaelic into soccer that maybe other people don't think about, and bring things from soccer into Gaelic that people might not think about. And I know a lot of people don't look at it that way, but physically in Gaelic as well, I think it helped me get used to the physicality when I went in from being a teenager into men's football. I think being sort of used to getting hit as, like, from when I was no age playing Gaelic sort of helped in that aspect of it.
You're still very young with hopefully a long career ahead of you. What would you regard as your highest and lowest points in your sporting career so far?
Probably getting capped at under 21 level for Northern Ireland. I think it's probably one of my biggest achievements. I got Young Player of the Year as well in the Championship of the year. We got promoted. It's definitely up there too, but I'd say representing Northern Ireland and under 21 international level would, I think it tops it. Lowest point, 100%, getting ankle surgery last season. Absolutely distraught after it. First time I've ever picked up like a huge injury that needed surgery. So yeah, after getting told basically you need a metal rod to get drilled through the middle of my ankle to keep it in place for the rest of my life, it was a massive low point, but thankfully I'm back playing now and it's not giving me any bother.
You said about your injury last season was your lowest point. How did you come back from this injury?
I think it's mentally, it sort of goes, you can either go away and feel sorry for yourself and say, oh, why did this happen to me, or why was it me in the tackle, or why did I not win the ball first, or whatever sort of thing you want to put into your own head. Or you can just look at it and go, listen, it's another setback, something I can overcome, and I'm going to be better after it. And I think if you think it like you're going to come back better than you were before, or have sort of positive things in your head about it, is a really good way of dealing with it. And that's sort of what I did. I didn't really sit back and be like, oh, I'll let it heal itself. I always kept moving or trying to improve, thinking of wee things, even icing my feet, doing wee small exercises before surgery. As soon as I was given all the care to walk after surgery, I was walking every day, just trying to get as much movement in it as possible. So yeah, even wee things like that just really helped me overcome it.
You've had the deal with some injury problems in the last few years. Could you tell me more about this and how you coped with these setbacks? You mentioned a bit about it there.
Yeah, I think just trying to be positive, and nearly as if you think you're going to get better, your brain's going to nearly help you get better as well. Because if you're in that thinking process, like, oh, I feel like my ankle's getting better, then your brain's going to think that your ankle's getting better, and then your muscles and your ankle are going to be like, just feel like that too. So definitely just having a positive mental attitude towards majority of things, especially when you're injured. I know that can be really tough, and at times I felt really low, especially during my ankle rehab, when you're maybe coming into a gym and you're doing a rehab, everyone else is out in the pitch kicking a ball around, and you're sitting doing wee weights or using a wee band, and you can't walk properly or you can't run properly, them sort of things. But just staying positive is the best thing you can do in that situation.
Who would you say was the biggest influence in your sporting career and why?
Biggest influence, definitely my dad. This is the reason I got involved in football when I was younger, the reason I supported football, the reason I can kick with both my feet. I was tortured out the back when I was younger, getting forced to kick with my left foot. I know, I remember hating it. Thankfully it paid off in the end. I can say that I'm both faded. Yeah, Dad, he used to drive us everywhere. He pushed us, me and Paul. Basically pushed us all the time, wanted us to get better and better and better. And thankfully I'm sitting here now and looking back from teenage years and even when I was younger, I have a decent amount of achievements, and looking forward as well, hopefully I can pick up more achievements and push on from where I am now. But yeah, I think all credit would go to my dad for
that. What was the best advice you ever given?
It's probably again from my dad. It just what he sort of says, if you work hard, I think everything will fall into place, and that's one thing you can control. It's a internal factor you control. There's a lot of external things that'll happen that are completely out of your control. You can't do anything about. But if you control how hard you work towards something, then things around it will eventually fall in place.
What was your future aspirations in sport?
Future aspirations, as probably any young lad, was to be professional in a full-time environment, and sort of would be still one of my aspirations. Obviously, to get back fully fit now, and maybe in the next couple of years get a full-time contract. But it's definitely something that's still in sight, and it's again another goal that I'm looking to work towards.
Finish off our interview and maybe help other young people interested in getting involved in football. What advice would you give them?
Get involved as much and as early as you can. If you're any age, regardless, even if it's football, any sport, I would encourage any young lad to play any sport possible at any age. Just get as active as you can, because you don't realise how many different things could come into your football career. Like I know boys that played tennis, played golf. I play a wee bit of golf myself at the minute. Swimming, all them sort of sports. You don't realise how many different aspects that you don't even think of can come into playing football. But my advice would be just to work hard. I think it's one of the most simple things, and you're probably told it every training session or every day when you're going to school or when you wake up in the morning, whether you're going to work or whatever you're doing. But if you genuinely work hard at that, I think things will go well for you. So that'll be my advice.
Thank you, John, for allowing me this opportunity to learn more about you and your sporting career.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.